Hello everyone, my name is Arinze Obara. Today I'll be presenting on navigating knowledge transfer in IT sourcing, specifically on a critical review of organizational process asset integration in project management. And my motivation for this topic, as we may have observed, is that global IT sourcing is growing rapidly for IT project execution, which many times may help deliver project results. But oftentimes, knowledge leaves with the IT vendors as soon as a project closes. Some other issues that contribute to the knowledge gaps include a lack of structured knowledge transfer, which often leads to organizational memory loss. Another issue that contributes to this knowledge gap is also when organizational process assets are rarely updated. So we've been navigating some of those issues that contribute to knowledge transfer gaps and how we may possibly address some of this. So we will continue discussing this topic by defining some key concepts like IT sourcing, which is basically acquiring external vendors to deliver IT project services. And knowledge transfer is fundamentally sharing critical insights between vendors and clients. But the focus of this paper is going to be knowledge transfer from IT vendors. Another key concept is organizational process assets, otherwise referred to as OPA. So these are reusable internal knowledge, such as repositories of templates, logs, and guides within an organization. And then we also have tacit and explicit knowledge. So tacit knowledge is experience-based knowledge and is often hard to document or codify as knowledge. They are basically experiential based on the expertise of IT vendors, whereas explicit knowledge is easily codified. Is also based on the expertise of an IT vendor, but this time they are easily codified or documented. Some challenges have been identified in the research literature. One is that knowledge transfer is often left to the project close phase, which may be too late in the game because of lost opportunity to convert expertise knowledge in the earlier phases of the project. Another one is that tacit knowledge is rarely captured properly because this is basically hard to codify intrinsic experiential knowledge of an expert or a SME. And then another challenge that has been identified is that knowledge repositories exist for many organizations, but they are often not maintained or used. And also, there is no clear ownership of accountability for knowledge transfer within a project team. And finally, one other challenge that has been identified in the literature reviewed is also that there seems to be a cultural and communication uh, gaps in distributed teams. The literature reviewed also suggested some approaches to addressing these challenges. One is to integrate knowledge transfer during a project initiation, planning, or execution phase, as well as the closing project phase. And then the other is to define knowledge deliverables in procurement contract for IT vendors within a project team. And then finally, it's also suggested to integrate metrics to evaluate knowledge retention way after a project deliverables has been completed. So basically, tracking the quality of knowledge retention by an organization. So, having discussed some of the challenges identified and also approaches to addressing these challenges, um, the paper contribution, which I have developed here, is more like a conceptual model to addressing these challenges, more like a framework for capturing KT activities through each phase of the project into the organizational process asset artifacts that we want to constantly be updating as throughout the project life cycle. And we also want to assign responsibilities for this process as well. So, for example, starting from the left side of your screen, in the initiation project phase, we can see that a common KT activity there is we want to be defining the KT knowledge transfer goals in the vendor contracts and the type of knowledge that we want to be including in this contract, the explicit codified knowledge that we can extract from the vendor initially, and some artifacts, OPA, that's organizational process artifacts, are updated in this process. And there are artifacts like knowledge transfer plans, onboarding guides, and we want someone to be responsible for this process, and it's basically the procurement officer or legal officer. Sometimes the project manager can also help in this process because when a project manager is a SME in a particular domain, their experience can also be leveraged in drafting what is expected of um, a, an IT vendor in a project team. So as we move down this framework, we also see that I'm going to jump straight down to the execution phase, which is where the space where the IT vendors will be needed. So specifically during the execution phase, this is where we have real-time collaboration in a project team, and it's a very good opportunity to be able to extract not just the explicit knowledge from the IT vendor, but also the tacit knowledge, which is experiential. We want to extract all those. And one tool that we can use there, we see we have Jira, we have Slack. Sometimes we can also use AI enabled notes in this collaboration, real-time collaboration sessions. So basically, we might get a draft out of this meeting, but eventually the IT vendor has the opportunity to review this draft and refine it as it might be needed. So one output from this process could be updated standard operating procedures or system walkthrough, and we can see the accountability for this process falls for the technical lead or functional lead. In this case, I would assume the IT vendor would be the technical lead in this case. And so basically, this framework helps to integrate the project phases and all the into the KT activities that are expected for each phase, and the types of knowledge that we can extract from each phase, and the organizational process asset artifact that can be gotten from this process, and also assigns owners to these processes as well, basically holding everyone possible accountable for knowledge transfer. As we have seen so far, We can summarize that the current status of KT transfer into reusable organizational process assets is that the current KT practices are fragmented. There is no dominant model that integrates creative practices through the project life cycles and into the organizational process are said to be updated or embedded for the organization. We can also see that there is a growing consensus that knowledge transfer should take a strategic outlook beyond just technical deliverables. So strategic because organization want to leverage um, knowledge transfer from IT vendors for future project implementation as well. And there is also a shift to project lifecycle based KT transitions, as we have seen in the previous slide. And there is also a developing emphasis on aligning knowledge transfer with the intended organizational process assets that an organization would want to update. There are some challenges for future research to explore. One is how organization could develop measures to evaluate the success of knowledge retention long after a project closure. So, how to develop KPIs to measure the quality of knowledge that is retained. Another area to explore is how the organization's procurement process could map expected KT deliverables through project cycles into the contractual framework. So this is just an extension. For example, the previous framework that we have seen, the conception model, is more like expanding on this framework and making it, refining it better depending on the project type. And another area for future research could be what are the processes or technology or mechanisms that will be effective for extracting the most of tacit knowledge through the project life cycle. So maybe we can look at technology, AI technology, which ones are effective to be able to extract real-time intrinsic knowledge being shared by IT vendor experts during project collaboration and all. Personally, this review has shifted how I see project management from just a delivery focused endeavor to an opportunity for institutionalizing reusable experiential knowledge asset from the IT vendors. So it's more like saying project success to also include the quality of experiential tacit knowledge that is captured from IT vendors for future projects. I think to me, this is the highlight of this literature review and also this paper contribution. And these are the references that I have cited for this presentation. Basically, references from peer-reviewed material from the last 5 years. And thank you very much for your time and have a good day.